In this new movie, Jason Statham is a man with a past with a certain set of skills. But he's now retired, doing generic Hollywood job number 45. Except one day, some bad guys do some bad things, and then Jason Statham goes, "That's it, I am going to kill everyone." Why?
Who are you? What are you?
Alright, so after the surprising success of The Beekeeper, Jason Statham and David Ayer are back with their new collaboration, The Working Man. This time with a script written by David Ayer and Sylvester Stallone, and one more guy who I can't remember. And after watching the movie, I don't think they should write scripts. Like the previous guy, the guy who wrote Beekeeper, he was much better. So plot wise, right, Jason Statham plays Guy, because I can't be bothered to remember what his name is. And he's an ex-soldier who is now retired, and he's working as a foreman in like a construction site. And he's got a nice boss who is played by that guy from Ant-Man.
Marines, a lot of people would have given up on me. You gave me a job. You were patient with me.
And then one day his boss's daughter gets kidnapped by some bad guys. And then he goes to Jason Statham and he's like, "I know you have a past, so help me get my daughter back." And then Jason Statham goes, "I can't, I am retired." And then the movie ends. Actually, no, but because 2 minutes later he goes like, "Okay, I'll just kill everyone, get your daughter back." And that's the movie. Alright, so I don't know, like positives, negatives, it doesn't really matter with this one. It's very standard Jason Statham stuff. It has some nice, decent action scenes. The plot is as generic as it gets. This is nowhere close to what The Beekeeper was, because The Beekeeper, at a basic level, like when you see the trailer, is very generic because it's like, okay, he has a neighbor and she gets scammed and he's going to go take revenge. But then it gets so insanely overblown, right? Because like it starts off with him blowing up the call center, and it ends with the president's son is running like scam call centers. Like it's insane, right? And then he's the beekeeper, which is like a top secret organization, and he's like a super spy who's like a mix of James Bond and Jason Bourne and like whatever multiplied by a million. So it escalates to a level which is, you can't like even imagine how far it's going to escalate. This one, the movie is as generic as the name. Okay, because he goes to rescue this girl, and then he beats up a couple of bad guys, and then finds out like there are more bad guys who are like the Russian mob. You can probably just like go through a list of, like, okay, which bad guy should he, or which criminal organization should he go against, and you close your eye and you put your finger on something and you're like, oh, okay, he's going to go up against the Russian mob. It could have easily been like the Chinese triad or the Yakuza or whatever. It wouldn't have made a difference because it's all like one and the same thing. You get a couple of interesting characters. They're fine. The action scenes in general are okay. There's one shot which was done very nicely from like a lighting standpoint. I liked that one.
Why, who decides?
The rest of it, it's not badly shot. Like the cinematography is decent, but nothing really stands out. Also, like the script doesn't know what to do with Jason Statham. I think the last few films that he's done have been very, very, like even have been very generic, like he's on autopilot. Like even The Beekeeper, the script is fun. Like Jason Statham is on autopilot, right? Like he was doing interesting stuff. Like you see something like Crank or Transporter, or like films like that where he was doing really interesting stuff. He's also not a bad actor, and he's good at comedy. Like if you've seen The Spy with Melissa McCarthy, you know that he can do comedy. And then of course he's got films like Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch and stuff like that. Now he's just on autopilot, and the script is also on autopilot. So just you know, yeah, I mean, is it bad? No, it's very sort of mid-tier Jason Statham stuff. So recommendations, if you have like an hour and a half to kill, you can watch Jason Statham kill people for an hour and a half.